This conference will now be recorded.
As always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so overall, an absolutely fantastic day coming back. I mean, it was one of those days where you just didn't have enough screens to really watch everything, and not enough eyes to, even be able to pay attention to everything that was really going on. But overall, just once again, a great morning. A lot of things that really have slowed down so far, but they're still getting some prints coming in. We should have a fairly good afternoon coming. So let's talk about what we're going to be watching. First off, obviously, PFE is still going to be in play just based off. See, the thing is, the range hasn't been huge today, but it's had a lot of range within the range of the original information. So even though it only looks like 361, there's been a lot of different trades that have came in within this. So the one thing is that this morning, when it passed down past this 40, we weren't really able to do any type of building for it. I really would expect it to come back and play around this 40 level a lot more before seeing this thing take off. Overall, it has the buying for 45 by far. We saw that this morning, and even the buying that we see coming in as this is starting to come back. But as of right now, you can see it's definitely dying down, and it doesn't mean that overall they're not buying anymore. It means that in this area, we're just not seeing a lot. So some riders coming back in, like I said, I'm really going to be expecting this to come back down and play around that 40 a little bit more, just to maximize the volume before we really see any type of huge move come in. Obviously, volume, it's trading 332,000 shares a minute, but if you look at the time in sales, it's really not that fast at all compared to how much it's actually trading. So trading volume definitely needs to pick up to really get this thing to start moving. And obviously, you're going to need a lot of print for the show. So riders aren't going to just be 3, 4, 5 prints. We're going to need to see different multiple bursts of these things coming in to really show somebody's intention just with the sheer volume that it's been trading today. Next thing looking at is CNK. So I still like CNK. Overall, yes, this was a lower high, which I really would have liked to see it kind of push up a little bit more. But overall, we have some beautiful buying at this 14 level at 4. And as we came up towards that 15 the first time, that really made this thing pull all the way back. So it's one of those trades where it's going to be basically all or nothing, depending on if better prints come in. I haven't seen anything at 14, though, that really shows that this thing needs to go too far underneath. So really what I'm going to be looking for is a trigger back towards all the buying that we do have up here. Based off of that, once again, it really, it's going to come out of nowhere. So make sure you have your order set. For instance, right now I'd have sitting somewhere, in the vicinity, you're going to be looking for $1. So really somewhere in the vicinity of like 17 in that area, just because obviously on a trigger, we're going to be expecting a pretty big hit. Best case is 18 because we do have this 417 print line right there, though. But, the trigger, the trigger I'm going to be expecting has to break past that print line. So, excuse me, set about 18 somewhere in that area. Next thing looking at is WKHS. Now, this has been the easy. I'm actually still in the short right now. This is just one of the easiest shorts possible. This thing just kept continuing to push on ask prints, getting overextended. 20 we know is one of the hardest levels out there to really break and be able to keep above. Got beautiful ask prints, and then boom, just it's been on its way down. It really hasn't done anything but show towards that downside so far. But overall, there is the buying that's back up here. So if we start to see, the only reason that I keep saying that, looking at it short is because if you look at the bigger side of things, 1940 right here, okay, you come over 1904, most of the bursts of prints that we've seen have all been selling. So until that stops, we're going to expect this to continue on its pullback in order to, to kind of get the idea of if it's going to stop and go back towards that buying at 20, we're going to need to see some actual buying start to come in and that selling stopping, which we're just not seeing. So looks like it's going to continue, and then obviously at some point, once the prints change a little bit, we do have room towards that 20 based off the buying we had. Now, two sideless stocks, SABR, which is it's not the prettiest trading stock whatsoever, but coming up to this 10, there's just a lot of buying right underneath there. So after this, it basically pulled back. I haven't seen a ton in it, but if you look at these bigger bursts, I'm just getting a ton of buying still coming, and we have buying that was right underneath the 10, real ballsy position. It was like 996, something like that in that area. So overall, I'm still going to be keeping my eye on it. It is on the side list just because it's not really doing much at all, and it might just die out. But overall, it does have the prints for the up. And then ONCT, another one that we've been watching pretty for the past few days. But again, there is buying at 550. There is buying at 6. So we're still sitting. This is a good sign for being able to sit and kind of start getting that rounded type bottom. coming up towards where that buying is. So I'm gonna, it's on the side list because once again, it's not showing anything that's saying that it's not gonna die out, but the volume will come out of nowhere in this if it's gonna push back up to that 6. So another one where you wanna have your orders ready, and then, you know, obviously on that trigger, we'd be looking for a trade back towards with 6 being our price target. And other than that, that's pretty much it. There's a bunch of other stuff that's moved, that's, I mean, that has a lot of volume, but there's just pretty much everything from our morning list already. Anything else out there? All right. All right, guys. So let's get ready for the afternoon. I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.